Imagine this. You walk into your favorite grocery store, grab the exact same cart of food you bought last year. Same cereal, same milk, same chicken. And when you get to the checkout, the total is $47. But here's the thing. Last year, that exact same cart cost you $32. Nothing changed. Same store, same brands, same you. But somehow your money just bought less. That's inflation. And if you've ever felt like your paycheck doesn't stretch as far as it used to, you're not imagining things. My name is Dave, and I spend way too much time thinking about why our money seems to disappear faster every year. If you're someone who works hard, makes decent money, but still feels like you're falling behind financially, even though you're doing everything right, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And listen, give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out, but more importantly, share it with someone. Because even if you don't realize it, there's always someone in your life who needs to understand this information. This stuff affects everyone. All right, let's make this super simple, because honestly, inflation isn't as complicated as people make it sound. Imagine there's a small island with exactly 10 pizzas and 10 people. Each person has $10 in their pocket. Pretty simple, right? If everyone wants pizza, each pizza costs $10. One pizza, $10. Easy math. Now here's where it gets interesting. The next day, there's still 10 pizzas on the island. Nothing changed there. But overnight, a helicopter drops a bag of money. And now everyone has $14 instead of $10. Here's the question. What happens to the price of pizza? Most people think, oh great, now we all have more money. We're richer. Wrong. Look, the pizzas didn't multiply. There's still only 10 pizzas. But now there's $140 total on the island instead of $100. The people who really want pizza will now pay $14 for it because they can. And boom, just like that, pizza costs 40% more. The people aren't richer. They just have more pieces of paper with numbers on them. But the actual stuff they can buy, the real things that matter, that didn't change at all. That's inflation in a nutshell. Now you might be thinking, okay, Dave, cute story, but what does this have to do with my actual life? Everything. Here's what most people don't realize. The United States government doesn't print money anymore in the traditional sense. They create it digitally. And according to the Federal Reserve's own data, the money supply increased by over 40% between February 2020 and December 2021. In less than 2 years. That's like going from $100 on our island to $140, but there are still the same 10 pizzas. Here's the thing that frustrates me. People blame grocery stores for high prices. They blame gas stations. They blame corporations for being greedy. And look, I'm not saying companies are saints, but think about it this way. If you're a grocery store owner and you bought a pallet of chicken last month for $1,000, and you need to reorder that same pallet today, but your supplier is charging you $1,200 because their costs went up, because everyone's costs went up, what are you going to do? You have to charge more. It's not greed. It's survival. The root cause isn't the stores. It's not even the suppliers. It's the fact that there's more money chasing the same amount of stuff. Let me give you a concrete example with real numbers. Let's say you make $50,000 a year. In 2020, that $50,000 could buy you a certain lifestyle, rent, food, gas, maybe some entertainment. But if inflation runs at 7% for 3 years straight, which is close to what we experienced, your $50,000 in purchasing power drops to the equivalent of about $40,800. You're making the same money, same job, same paycheck, but you're effectively $9,200 poorer without a single dollar being taken from your account. That's the invisible tax nobody talks about. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because you need to understand why governments create more money in the first place. Governments have bills to pay, right? Roads, schools, military, social programs, all of this costs money. And there are basically 3 ways a government can pay for stuff. Tax people, super unpopular. Borrow money, which they do a lot. Create new money, sneaky and invisible. Look, option 3 is the easiest politically because most people don't understand it's happening. There's no angry headlines about a new tax. No politicians losing elections. It's just quiet. But here's the catch. When you create new money without creating new value, new goods, new services, new actual stuff people can use, you dilute the value of every dollar already in existence. Think of it like juice concentrate. If you have a pitcher of orange juice that's perfectly mixed, and then you add more water without adding more concentrate, what happens? The juice gets weaker. Every glass tastes less like orange. Your dollars are the juice. The government adding water is printing money. And suddenly your dollars taste less like orange. They buy less stuff. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I know government statistics can be questionable, but stay with me, the purchasing power of the dollar has declined by over 95% since 1913. A dollar today buys what a nickel bought back then. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's official data. Here's what most people don't realize. Inflation changes how you think about money, and that psychological shift can trap you in poverty. When prices go up, you face a choice. Either make more money or buy less stuff. But here's the sneaky part. Most people respond by going into debt. Credit cards become the bridge between your paycheck and your lifestyle. I'll just put on the card this month. Turns into a trap that's really hard to break. Now you might be thinking, Dave, what's the alternative? I need to eat. I need gas. I need to keep my life going. I hear you. And that's exactly why understanding inflation is so critical. Because if you don't understand the trap being set, you can't protect yourself. Let me tell you a quick story. I have a friend, let's call him Marcus, who got a 3% raise last year. He was thrilled. Felt like his boss finally recognized his value. But here's the thing. Inflation that year was running at 6.5%. Marcus got a raise and simultaneously got poorer. His paycheck number went up, but his buying power went down. And he had no idea because nobody teaches this stuff. He's working harder, making more money, and still struggling to save. That's the trap of inflation. It's cruel and invisible. All right, so now you know what inflation is and how it works. The question is, what do you do with this information? Look, I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. But I can share what helped me wake up to this reality. First thing, just start asking questions. Next time you hear about a raise at work, ask yourself, is this raise bigger than inflation? If inflation is 5% and you get a 3% raise, you're not getting ahead, you're falling behind. That's just awareness. You deserve to know the real picture. Second, notice where your money is sitting. Is your money just sitting there in a regular checking account, doing nothing? That's fine for your emergency fund and monthly expenses. But if you've got savings just sitting there for years, ask yourself, is this money losing value every single day? Because it probably is. I'm not telling you what to do with it, just notice it. Awareness is the first step. Third, start learning. You don't need to become a financial expert overnight, but maybe read one article about investing. Watch one video about how the stock market works. Talk to one person who owns real estate or invests in index funds. Just start learning. Because here's the thing, the system doesn't want you to understand this stuff. When you're confused, you stay stuck. Fourth, think about your income differently. Instead of thinking, I make $50,000 a year, start thinking, what can my $50,000 actually buy? That mindset shift changes everything. It makes you think about your purchasing power, not just your paycheck number. And when you think that way, you start making different decisions. And here's the last one, and this is important. Realize that staying where you are is actually moving backwards. If you're doing the same thing this year that you did last year, same job, same saving strategy, same financial habits, you're not staying in place. You're losing ground. Inflation makes sure of that. So even small changes matter. Even asking these questions matters. Here's something that might surprise you. The wealthy aren't smarter than you. They're not working harder than you. They just understand one simple truth that most people miss. Money sitting still loses value. Assets gain value. Think about it. If you have $10,000 sitting in your checking account for 5 years and inflation runs at 4% each year, that money loses about $2,000 in purchasing power. It's still $10,000 on paper, but it buys way less stuff. But if someone owns a house, a small business, or investments, the value of those things tends to go up with inflation. The trap isn't designed to hurt everyone equally. It's designed in a way where some people benefit and others get crushed. And I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm saying it because once you see the trap, you can start thinking differently about it. The people who keep their money in assets aren't evil. They're not lucky. They just learned how the system works. And now you know too. Look, here's the truth. Most people will watch this video, nod their heads, and then do nothing. They'll go back to their regular lives and forget about inflation until the next time they're shocked at the grocery store checkout. Don't be most people. This isn't about getting rich quick. This isn't about taking huge risks. This is about waking up to reality and making small adjustments that protect you from getting quietly robbed by inflation every single day. Look, I know this is heavy. I know it can feel overwhelming. But knowledge is power, and now you understand something that most people will never figure out. Inflation is like having a small hole in your wallet. You don't notice it immediately, but over time, you wonder why you have no money left. But here's the good news. Once you see it, you can defend against it. Start today, even if it's small. Open an investment account. Read one book about money. Have one conversation with someone about this stuff. Share this video with a friend or family member who needs to hear it. Because here's what I genuinely believe. Financial knowledge shouldn't be a secret kept by the wealthy. It should be something we all understand. Now, here's something else you need to know, and this connects directly to what we just talked about. Even if you understand inflation, there's another trap that keeps people stuck. It's called the salary trap, and it's the reason why most people can't get ahead no matter how hard they work. I'm breaking that down in my next video with another simple cartoon explanation. Because once you understand both of these concepts, inflation and the salary trap, you'll finally see the full picture of why the system feels rigged. And more importantly, what you could do about it. So hit that subscribe button if you want more videos breaking down money topics like this. Give it a thumbs up if you learned something. And seriously, share this with someone. Even if you don't know it, there's someone in your life who desperately needs this information. I'll see you in the next video where we talk about the salary trap.